floor to Mr. Posey for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have to agree with my distinguished colleague that maybe we should repeal it. I think that's a great idea. In the meantime, I have a question for Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller, you state you're concerned about the data collection at the CFPB, and I wonder if you'd be kind enough to expand on those concerns about what it is that you fear.
Well, there are roughly 37 new data fields that are collected on a loan because of the proposed HMDA rules from CFPB. They want to improve they say they want to improve the quality of data gathered. We believe this is Big Brother gone wild. The rule adds these 37 new data elements. We don't know what they're going to do with it, but we do know what the data elements are. They include things like where you live, your age, your sex, value of your home, income, how much you spend, how much you owe, your payment amounts on your credit cards and other debt obligations. That's too much information that could be used for improper purposes. Anybody can go ask for this information. It's an invitation to massive identity theft that could threaten the financial security of hundreds of millions of Americans.
Besides anyone asking for the information, we know of quite a few federal databases that have been violated, including the Pentagon. How secure do you feel that data is in the hands of the CFPB?
My members tell me they're very fearful. I'm more concerned about what my members think, but we're also very fearful. We want more done in this area, and we would ask the committee to do some work to establish some very tight standards. So if they're going to gather all this information and make it accessible to people, what's the purpose? And do a cost-benefit analysis. And how many people are we going to catch making a bad loan as a result of gathering, all these new data fields, and where's the information security for for your constituent?
Well, as they did with the foreign deposit issue, the Treasury obviously does not feel that it's important to comply with the cost-benefit law, and since they control the purse strings of the CFPB, I'm hesitant to believe there is any possibility we would get the proper relief there. A question for you and Mrs. Bosma Lamascus. The NCUA has put out a new proposal on risk-based capital after thousands of comments, including a letter I signed, along with 323 other members of Congress, which supposedly improves the risk-based capital rule. What do you think about that rule, and is it necessary? Does it add to the regulatory burden?
We believe there are improvements in the second draft of risk-based capital from NCUA, but we think several components result in additional situations like we just discussed that are solutions that won't work to problems that don't exist.
We understand that. We interpret it as the omnipresent defenders of the non-existent problems of the people. We're getting quite familiar with that.
Yes. Yes, sir. For example, they were asked to establish what the definition of well-capitalized is, and they added another definition, or adequately. They were asked to do adequate. They were asked to address adequately capitalized. Then they added another definition of what well-capitalized is. So they've created more complexity, and we don't think that that's what they were commanded to do. They were commanded to provide one definition, and they created two. So we don't support the two-tiered rule on capitalization. We also, no, I'll just yield to Ms. Lamascus because I want to make sure she has some time because we're running out of your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. We don't have enough time to talk about the additional complexity that this new way of measuring our capital based on this risk would cost and add to credit unions. We believe it is unnecessary. NCUA has not been able to substantiate to us why it is necessary. It's costly. They're building in additional tiers, as Mr. Miller talked about, which will take millions of dollars out of play for credit unions to be able to lend to their members and keep our economy growing. So,
who owns the credit unions? Who are the big greedy capitalists they're trying to protect us from?
they're all members. Credit unions are owned by their members, which tend to be working-class people.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.